This is Fox 66 News at 10 Friday Night Football.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Football, the state finals edition. We have two teams looking to bring home some serious hardware on one of the biggest stages in Michigan at Ford Field, which is where Tom Eschen is standing by, smiling away. Hi, Tom. We'll hear from him in just a moment, but first, let's start out with that Powers Catholic game, who made somewhat of an improbable run through the state finals. The Chargers have been an underdog in several games this postseason, yet head coach Bob Buckle and his boys just keep winning. They faced their stiffest competition of the year as they took on Zeeland West this afternoon. Bob Buckle called Zeeland West coach John Shalito the Yoda of option football, and that would prove to be true. Zeeland West did a pretty good job at it early on. The second year, Tyler Thompson scored to make it 16-0. Second half, Powers looking for another comeback. Noah Sargent with the bomb to Matt Whisker deep into Ducks territory. They would score to make it 16-6, but Zeeland West answers. It's Thompson again. This is not a replay. 24-6 Zeeland West, but Powers Catholic fighting until the very last second. Noah Sargent escapes the sack, flings it downfield. Somehow Noah Thompson catches it off the tip. Nice catch there. Another huge gain. And then a few moments later, Sargent's back at it. This time he's going to find Luke Burchich, and that's going to be good enough for a touchdown, but unfortunately it wasn't good enough to win the game. Powers Catholic falls 40-14. The Chargers finished the year 11-3, and we send our congratulations out to Bob Buckle and his team. Great job. Now we bring Tom Eschen back in from Ford Field. He was there, he saw the game, and he has the reaction. Tom?
Thank you very much, Corey. Good evening, everybody from Ford Field. You know, Coach Buckle said after the game, Zeeland West just beat them. They bigger, faster, stronger. Obviously, you could see it in the final score, and a lot of disappointment. When they made a run just like they did, it makes so much tougher when they got so close to the state title game. They sniffed it, but just couldn't get it tonight. And you could really see the emotion in Coach Buckle's eyes, and a lot of the players, guys, after the game, they were really disappointed, but really nothing, as you mentioned, Corey, to really hang their heads about. They made that amazing run. They beat the #1 team in Division 4 in Detroit Country Day along the way. So, you know, it's tough to see them lose a game like this and tough to see it end.
Just going to tell you that the juniors, 2 years ago, were 1-8 as freshmen. I mean, they never dreamed of being here. And our seniors, we've only had 19 on the freshman team, but they've all been here for 4 years. So they didn't give up. You know, they've seen some tough times, and it paid off in the long run. Get an appearance at Ford Field. So I don't know. I know you're supposed to be sad and angry and unhappy, but it's a great season. It's been a great season. That's all I can say.
Even though people thought we'd ever win the season this year, and then to make it here, great accomplishment. Obviously, we wanted to win, but still a season in the history books for sure.
Yeah, you can really sense the disappointment in Coach and Noah Sargent, their star quarterback, and maybe they could take a lesson from the Ithaca Yellow Jackets, who will show you highlights in just a moment. Ithaca lost last year, so maybe Powers, maybe they can come back and win it after losing the year prior. And when we talk about those Ithaca highlights in just a moment, I'll tell you something that Terry Hesbrook did, their head coach did tonight, that he hasn't done in any of their state title games. So make sure to stay tuned for that when we show you Ithaca on the other side of the break. But for now, let's go back to Corey in the studio.
Thank you, Tom. Stay right there. We'll hear more from you in just a bit because we're not done yet. After experiencing their first loss in 4 years in last year's title game, the Ithaca Yellow Jackets look for some redemption in this year's title game as they took on an unbeaten Clinton team. Could they get the job done? Find out next as Friday Night Football continues.
This is Fox 66 News at 10 Friday Night Football.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football. We saw one local team in Powers Catholic lose in their state title game, but now it's time for perennial power Ithaca, who is in familiar but unfamiliar territory. This is their 7th straight year in the finals, but this time they're not the defending champions. A little different there. Ithaca has seen Clinton before their opponent today. Their state title game was 2 years ago, and they won that game over the Redskins. But it was those Redskins who struck first as Caden Kelly hits Noah Poor for 20 yards, and it's 7-0 Clinton going into the half. Third quarter, first Clinton drive, Matthew Sexton off tackle, and he is gone. 56 yards for the touchdown. The PAT is no good, so it's 13-0. But that's when everything changed for Ithaca on the next drive. Jake Smith dispensed the mole. Watch this. Drops the ball mid-stride, kicks it right back up to himself, and gets taken down inside the 10-yard line. And then they would turn to their quarterback, Jake Smith, who calls his own number, and he cruises into the end zone to make it a 13-7 game. On the next drive, Smith takes to the air. He's going to find Spence DeMole, for another touchdown, and just like that, it's a 14-13 Yellow Jacket lead, and from there on out, they just turned it over to Jake Smith, who had 300 yards of total offense all by himself, and this run right here says it all, as he jukes like 3 guys right there. On to the late fourth quarter we go. Clinton with one last try, down 7. Caden Kelly gets sacked by Derek Teed, and that was it. Ithaca wins their 5th championship in their last 6 years, 27-20 over the Clinton Redskins. And once again, we will bring in Tom Eschen, who saw this game firsthand. Tom, there's a lot to be proud of in this game, but was there one thing that really stood out?
Yeah, Corey, I was thinking about that. You know, that so many different aspects of this game, but if you go to the state title game 5 years in a row, you win at the first 4, it gets to be almost rocking your world when you lose a state title game. So after losing it last year and coming back this year, the common thread among this team was that they got redemption. The phrase was, we're back on the top of the mountain, and they sure were after the game. The celebration really was as pure as it would be for a team that's here year after year after year. It was just a genuine celebration. It was exciting. They were just as emotional as Powers was, but in the opposite direction. Obviously, there was tears in their eyes. Just a lot of guys really excited about this win. As mentioned, Jake Smith was amazing in this game. More than 100 yards passing, more than 100 yards rushing as well. An impressive victory for Ithaca over a team that they also beat 2 years ago for their last state title, Corey, and it was fun to watch. It's been a fun ride, and something that Coach Hesbrook did that he hasn't done before. With the game over minutes ago, he called the timeout, brought the entire team into a huddle, and had a message.
I got all the players together and I said to them, thank you. Thank you for everything that you have done for us, for Ithaca football, over the years. And I said, you know, if we can catch 3 consecutive snaps in a row, you know, you're going to be back to the top of that mountain and you're going to be state champions again. And then everybody just went crazy.
It's just the best feeling in the world because since day one, since I stepped on Ithaca's school grounds, I put my heart and soul into football. And being able to get back here and get that win after all that work, I mean, I can't describe it. It's just complete happiness.
I just remember all the hard work that we put in on the off season leading up to this season, and all of the hardships, you know, getting down 13-0 in the state championship game, that playoff run, pretty tough. And I mean, I think that's definitely some things I'll remember.
Afterwards, Coach said we just want to go win another one next year. I think they'll enjoy that one for tonight as well. What a way to really end the season here with a state title from a mid-Michigan team. It's pretty cool to have 2 teams here, and it made it that much more fun, even though Powers did fall tonight. So, Friday Night Football, our season finale, Corey. It's been a fun ride, and we'll see you all next week. It's basketball season. Our hometown hoops season tip-off preview show will be next week, so I'll see you then on the basketball court. But for now, reporting live from Ford Field, I'm Tom Eschen. And then Corey has more details about another big game happening tomorrow. Back to you, Corey.
That's right. We're going to shift gears to college football now, and there's still 1 game left in the regular season. And tomorrow, the Ohio State Buckeyes will be in Ann Arbor, and Michigan and Ohio State will rekindle one of the best rivalries in the sport. First-year head coach Jim Harbaugh took this team to Bo Schembechler's grave earlier this week and smashed a Buckeye, and it's his peculiar personality doing things like that that the players have really gravitated towards, and it's paid off in big dividends as the Wolverines already have far exceeded expectations. But one guy Harbaugh credits for the most for this team's turnaround is his quarterback, Jake Rudolph.
He is so tough. This past game, I mean, the toughness was on display. I know I've said it. And maybe, you know, saying tough as a $2 steak doesn't even give it, you know, real justice. This guy is tough as nails, hard as hen's teeth. He's been a godsend for our team.
The game is scheduled to kick off at noon tomorrow. I'll be there for coverage and post-game reaction, so be sure to tune in for that. One more score to pass along to you. Central Michigan beat Eastern Michigan to finish the season 7-5. Thank you for joining us tonight and the whole season. It's been a fun ride. Next week we'll transition into basketball. Have a terrific night.